Blinken set for high-stakes China visit with tensions rising and breakthrough prospects low. Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State for the United States, has left on a high-stakes diplomatic mission to China to defuse the rising tensions between his country and China, which have ratcheted up anxiety levels for many people all around the world. Since Vice President Joe Biden took office, Blinken will be the highest-ranking official from the United States to visit China, and he will be the first Secretary of State to undertake the trip in 5 years. However, the likelihood of any meaningful breakthrough on the most challenging issues currently confronting the world's two largest economies is low, as relations have already been increasingly tense over the last several years. As a result of a string of disagreements that have repercussions for the safety and order of the world, hostility and recriminations have been slowly growing in intensity. Sunday marks Blinken's arrival in Beijing, where he will spend the next 2 days engaging in discussions. According to authorities from the United States, he is scheduled to meet with Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang on Sunday, top diplomat Wang Yi on Monday, and maybe Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday. At a meeting held in Bali in 2017, Biden and Xi Jinping came to an early agreement over Blinken's travel. It was delayed by the diplomatic and political upheaval that was caused by the discovery of what the United States claims was a Chinese spy balloon flying across the United States that was shot down. It came within a day of occurring in February, but it was delayed because of this discovery. The list of conflicts and potential areas of conflict is long. It includes issues such as trade with Taiwan, the state of human rights in China and Hong Kong, and the assertiveness of the Chinese military in the South China Sea, as well as Russia's involvement in the situation in Ukraine. Before Blinken left Washington on Friday, officials from the United States stated that he will bring up each of the issues, even though neither side has offered any indication that they are willing to step down from their stances. Just before he left, Blinken highlighted how important it was for the United States and China to create and keep better channels of communication. According to what he told the reporters, the United States government wants to make sure that the competition we have with China doesn't veer into conflict because of preventable misconceptions. Precisely so that we can make sure that we are communicating as clearly as possible to avoid any possible misunderstandings and miscommunications. Blinken said Friday that Biden and Xi had made agreements to strengthen communications. In a meeting with Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates on Friday, Xi hinted at a probable willingness to reduce tensions by saying that the United States and China may cooperate to benefit our two countries. This statement was made during Xi's meeting with Gates. Xi said to Gates, "I believe that the foundation of Sino-US relations lies in the people," and he was right. Given the current state of affairs in the world, we are in a position to carry out a variety of activities that will be to the advantage of both of our countries, the people living in both of our countries, and the entire human race. There have been several high-level commitments since Blinken's trip in February had to be canceled because of scheduling conflicts. In May, the director of the CIA, William Burns, traveled to China, while China's Minister of Commerce visited the United States. And in May, Jake Sullivan, who is Biden's national security advisor, had a meeting with Yi in Vienna. However, these have been punctuated by outbursts of angry rhetoric from both sides regarding the Taiwan Strait, their broader intentions in the Indo-Pacific, China's refusal to condemn Russia for its war against Ukraine, and allegations from the United States that Beijing is attempting to boost its worldwide surveillance capabilities, including in Cuba. And earlier this month, China's military minister turned down a request from United States Military Secretary Lloyd Austin to meet on the sidelines of a security symposium in Singapore. This was an indication of growing disagreement between the two countries. On Friday, Austin expressed his certainty that he and his Chinese equivalent would meet at some point in time, but we're not there yet. Underscoring the gravity of the situation, China has dismissed as far-fetched and unprofessional a study authored by a security firm in the United States that implicated Chinese-affiliated hackers for attacks on hundreds of public organizations, schools, and other targets located all over the world. A spokeswoman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated multiple times that Washington is responsible for the hacking attempts and expressed frustration that the cybersecurity industry hardly ever reported on them. That was in response to a similar retort that China had made earlier in the week when they stated that Qin had called Blinken and urged the United States to respect China's core concerns, such as the issue of Taiwan's self-rule, and to stop interfering in China's internal affairs and to stop harming China's sovereignty, security, and development interests in the name of competition. In the meantime, the national security advisors of the United States, Japan, and the Philippines conducted their first combined discussions on Friday and agreed to strengthen their defense cooperation. This would be done in part to counter China's growing influence and ambitions in the region. This occurs at the same time that the Biden administration signs an agreement with Australia and Britain to provide the first with nuclear-powered submarines, and at the same time that China is moving quickly to expand its diplomatic presence, especially in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Island nations, where it has opened or has plans to open at least 5 new embassies over the next year. China is moving to provide the first with nuclear-powered submarines. The deal is a component of a nuclear collaboration that has been in effect for the past 18 months and has been given the acronym AUKUS, which stands for Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Two United States officials, speaking before Blinken's departure, played down chances for big progress and emphasized that the trip's primary objective was to restore a feeling of calm and normalcy to high-level discussions. They said their comments were made before Blinken's departure. "We are coming to Beijing with a realistic, confident approach and a sincere desire to manage our competition in the most responsible way possible," said Daniel Kritenbrink, the top U.S. diplomat for East Asia and the Pacific. "We're coming to Beijing with a realistic, confident approach and a sincere desire to manage our competition in the most responsible way possible. Intense competition requires intense diplomacy if we are going to manage tensions," said Kurt Campbell, the top Asia expert at the National Security Council. "This is the only way to dispel misunderstandings, send a message, have a conversation, and cooperate in situations in which our interests coincide." This coincides with the Biden administration inking an agreement with Australia and Britain to provide the first with nuclear-powered submarines, with China moving rapidly to expand its diplomatic presence, especially in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Island nations, where it has opened or has plans to open at least 5 new embassies over the next year. Two U.S. officials, speaking before Blinken left for his trip, laid down hopes for a big breakthrough and emphasized that the trip was meant to restore a feeling of calm and normalcy to high-level meetings. Their comments came before Blinken left for his trip. "We are coming to Beijing with a realistic, confident approach and a sincere desire to manage our competition in the most responsible way possible," said Daniel Kritenbrink, the senior U.S. diplomat for East Asia and the Pacific. "We're coming to Beijing with a realistic, confident approach and a sincere desire to manage our competition in the most responsible way possible. Intense competition requires intense diplomacy if we are going to manage tensions," said Kurt Campbell, the top Asia expert at the National Security Council. "This is the only way to dispel misunderstandings, send a message, have a conversation, and cooperate in situations in which our interests coincide." Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.